Hi, my name is Ryan Walker. I'm Senior Analyst at Echelon Capital Markets, and today we have Quinton Henney, Chairman and President of Novo Resources. And he's joining us with our first in a series of Echelon Q&A updates with noteworthy mining companies over the coming weeks. So Quinton, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
My pleasure.
So I guess to start, we'd kind of be remiss if we didn't ask about any COVID impact that you've seen with Novo Resources. Are your operations suspended at present? Have you had any personnel impact or anything like that?
No people impacted directly, fortunately. Australia's done a very good job. They've contained things. They've shut the country down. They've shut the states down. Western Australia in particular has really got a good grip on things. We were shut down for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I think. We're back to work in earnest at this point.
Okay, great. It's good to hear that there's been nobody impacted personnel-wise. So I guess let's just jump right in. Could you maybe give us just a quick thumbnail project description and corporate update? Market cap, your cash position, are you fully funded for your plans in 2020? Sure. And what kind of major shareholders or joint venture partners you have?
Okay, well, let's start with the company. First of all, we got about 188 million shares. Market cap's somewhere around 600 million Canadian at present. We have about 30 million in cash, plenty of money to do the work we have planned. Look, we have a very good shareholder base. We've got Kirkland Lake as our largest shareholder. Of course, Eric Sprott's second. But we also have large shareholdings with the Creasy Group. Mark Creasy is a prospector in Australia. He holds, I think, about 7%. We've got Newmont. We've got some share swaps we did earlier. So we've got some stakes in some strategic companies, we'll call it. Very good basis as far as projects go. We've got our Echelon project, which is where we're very active right at the moment. But we've also got Beaton's Creek, our most advanced project. We're looking for a strategy to put that, get that towards production. And we're also advancing our Karatha project through plans for trial mining, stuff like that. So we've got lots going this year. We've got 13,000 square kilometers and lots to explore, lots to advance all at once.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty impressive registry there with Eric Sprott, Newmont, Sumitomo's involved as well. Presumably that just speaks to, I mean, number one, your track record and the prospectivity of your land package and your deposits. Maybe you could speak about that a little bit, how you attracted those names and how involved they are.
Sure. Look, all of the parties that you just mentioned, Newmont, Eric, Kirkland, Sumitomo, they've all come to site multiple times. We're dealing with some very unusual gold deposits here. These are things that weren't even on anyone's radar, say 10 years ago. But I went to this region on the premise that this Pilbara region was once connected with the capital Creighton in South Africa, and there's a lot of gold there. So why couldn't there be gold in the Pilbara? All right. So those who've been to site, they see it and they understand it. They have a grasp of what we're trying to accomplish. They're unusual deposits, so they're nuggety. They're very coarse gold systems, and they're layered. They're sheets of conglomerate. So these are things that people aren't necessarily fully up to fully versed in at present. But we're doing the hard work, and we're going to show people why we think this is a major gold mining district.
Right. Okay. And that leads to kind of a little bit of the line of question that I had planned. What kind of special steps do you need to take to deal with the conglomerate type deposits and the issues that they bring along with them?
That's a good question. Look, these have a big footprint. They're flat. They go on. Okay, so we have to look at a lot of aspects maybe normal mines don't look at. But where else have they done this? Well, iron ore has a big footprint too. Okay, so we do have some analogies to turn to. But look, the keys for us, we have to demonstrate we can mine these things in a responsible fashion and that we can reclaim them in a way that returns the land to its present value. Okay, so we are working on that almost as aggressively as the technical work to advance the deposits. The other thing, of course, is working with the Aboriginal communities in this region. We have a very big footprint, and we've struck territory-wide agreements with 2 of the Aboriginal communities in this region, and we're working with some of the others. In fact, we have mining agreements now with 2 others down at Beaton's Creek, for example. So we realize that that's a very important key to moving this project forward as well. We try to engage and maintain a good relationship with the Aboriginals at all levels, you know, in the field, you know, respectively, you know, to their communities, etc.
Okay. And I guess Beaton's Creek is obviously one of the areas of focus.
That's
You
right.
talked previously about trying to fast track that to a sense into production. What are the kind of milestones along that and the timelines to production in your mind there?
Look, Beaton's Creek is our most advanced project. We do have a resource, you know, in spite of the fact it's negative, we've got a resource around 450,000 ounces each of indicated and inferred. We've done all the mine permitting, so it's fully permitted at this point. We've struck our native title agreements. We've got, you know, actual agreements to go mining with the Aboriginal communities. In our view, Beaton's Creek could be fast tracked at this point. We are looking at options of how to do that. There's a few options that you know, take us down a standalone approach, for example, and then there's other options that might relate to strategic acquisitions. At this point, we haven't settled on the right path just yet, but we're getting very close.
Okay. Okay. And do you have kind of the team put in place to follow that
Yeah.
path to production
Yeah.
yourself? Yeah.
About 3 years ago, I recognized that Novo would have to make this leap. We could see a lot of these, we'll call them discoveries, coming to fruition. Like, it was clear that we had something that was going to have to be advanced towards a mining stage. So I brought in Rob Humphreyson, CEO. I stepped aside as CEO. Rob is a very capable engineer. He's also very well connected in the Australian mining community, has a lot of respect amongst his peers, knows a lot of people everywhere from, you know, contractors to suppliers to, you know, the state engineer to, you know, et cetera. Like, he knows most everyone. All right. So he's a very valuable part of our asset, but he in turn has, I've told him to build the team he needs to take these things to production. So we've actually, for instance, in-house, we've got engineer hired. We've got in-house environmental scientists. We've got, you know, effectively a metallurgical team and stuff. So we've got all the people we need. In fact, we've hired some more recently. We brought on a fellow named Chris Martin, who's an experienced miner, who we think can run circles around future operations.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. Thank you. And so for the balance of 2020, what are the work plans? What are the main catalysts you see driving the stock for the rest of the year at least?
Yes. Okay. So there's several news streams that we'll have. Firstly, at Echelon, we have a lot of places to explore. We've just started exploring a place called Paradise, which is really the first big step out we've done away from the area that we worked last year. Okay, this is out on the flat terrace. We've done some bulk samples, or I should say test samples. We call them MAC samples, M-A-K for short. And we put them through a small alluvial plant, and we get an assessment of how much gold is in this. So it basically serves as a guide to tell us where the gold system is out on the flats. And we're getting some remarkable results. We're seeing point counts of gold in the samples that are as high or higher than we saw at the test area we did last year. So look, over the next, how many months are left? 7 months that we have in this year. We've got lots of new areas, I think 20 new areas that we're going to do test sampling. Then we'll follow up with bulk sampling. Bulk sampling is actually where we process material and we assess the grade that way. So we'll be able to start speaking about grades of the terrace gravels. And that will lead to a decision on where we will plan to go trial mining in the not too distant future. Okay, so we want to identify these areas, show the system is big, come to comfort with that, and then plan our next phase, which would be trial mining. Now, the test work that we did with mechanical sorting is also an important component of this whole work. So we did a lot of laboratory scale test work. Now it's time to get the machine out in the field and do that kind of test work. So we have plans to get a sorter out. It's a bit of a challenge right now with coronavirus, but things are starting to loosen up a little, and I think we can pull it off. I was hoping to have one out, here shortly, but I think it'll be delayed by a couple of months. But I think we'll be able to show the world that sorting can be applied in the field. So that's another news stream. And then I think there will be news around Beaton's Creek this year. I think we can demonstrate a way, viable path to production there. So lots coming. Lots coming.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. And I guess maybe not your bailiwick, but related, I suppose. Would you care to give us your outlook on gold going forward?
Oh, look,
not asking for a specific number, but
look, I think most people who have invested in this industry realize that this is a pretty unique time. I've been interested in gold since I was a kid. I remember listening to Paul Harvey every day, listening for the gold price, back in the late 1970s, because it was an exciting time. Gold went from $175 to, I think, $800 by early January 1980, wrong millennia. Anyway, I think we're going to see a similar scenario here. Lots of money being printed. It's kind of like playing Monopoly with somebody who cheats, So those who understand that the consequences of this and don't want to get cheated, they have a place to turn to, and that be gold mining. And I think gold mining will do well over the next few years. What's a gold price? No idea. It's not about the gold price, though. It's about the gold. Okay, the dollar is what's falling. Gold, an ounce of gold still weighs an ounce of gold.
All right. Well said. Well said. Well, listen, I think that was a great overview, and it's an exciting story. Geologically, really interesting. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's the gold bars that count. So we'll be watching it and seeing you guys progress along the path to production. And hopefully, and maybe in a couple months, we can have another quick update like this. I think investors will get to some use out of this. And thanks very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right. Thank you very much, Quentin. Okay.
Thank you.